And we are live. That's facts. Live up in here. We got heavily intelligent brother of ours. You know what I'm saying? Don, go ahead and speak about the art and science of worldview warfare and things that's going on in today's society. Or we could just shoot the breeze and we're gonna let it flow to us. So what's going on with you, man?
All right, brother. All right. Just enjoying this nice day, man. On Easter coming up. It's a special time for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, Easter. I forgot. Yeah, Easter what tomorrow?
Yep.
Oh yeah, see, boom. This is gonna be a busy weekend. It's a good Friday yesterday and Saturday. Tomorrow's time going
Definitely.
by, man.
It definitely is. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier. Said downtown Atlanta is just like at a standstill. So many people out doing things.
hmm
Yep.
So you said Atlanta. I remember a while ago in the last live you talked about Atlanta and you said that people was losing their lives on the highway from the Hellcats and Trailhawks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's been 10 so far this year, 10 shootings, and 5 have been fatal. There was one like 2 or 3 days ago, not too far from where I stay. They didn't give much context. They just said somebody rolled up on them, shot. They didn't kill. It was called one got killed, and they just they just dipped away. It's been all over the city too, uh, from the north to the south, east, west.
Oh, okay. And it's
Yep.
crazy because I just saw a video by Dan Lil Durk talking about Hellcats and Trailhawks, like like he co-signing that, or or what else. It's like on some Rico
Yeah,
stuff. It's like it's hot over there, but why you gonna say that just to
it's
like
social
it's just yeah,
engineering. It's
it's
social
social.
engineering.
Go ahead and speak on it, man. Speak on the social engineering of that. What you feel? Because me
Yeah,
speaking on.
it's definitely, you know, the thing about this kind of stuff is we complicit in it. And complicity is basically when you accept something. So in order to be deceived, you gotta accept the deception. Like be deceived and don't believe what they talking about. Like you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You must accept. And so that acceptance is like the story is a symbol. This story is the vampire. And the vampire come to your door and you got to let him in. And so that's kind of how it works. So, yeah, it's social engineering. And whatever artist does, engage in that kind of marketing, they got to make a decision about money for them, clout, what's more important, that or having to give an account for what you say out of your mouth. It's
Exactly.
like everybody else got to. So yeah, I mean, some of them they just say, "Hey, I just cut the difference and take the money and the fame," and just like once they enter the grave, they ain't got nothing, ain't got no clout, they ain't got no bread. I'm saying,
Facts.
yeah, so that that's at the end of the day, man. I mean, it's unfortunate that it's happening, and it's pretty much a guaranteed presumption that it's some young brothers doing it. They don't. It's like they gonna just say it on the news, but the overall kind of undercurrent to it all. So it could be. Who knows? I mean, this could be like getting into some serial killer type stuff where you might have somebody out there that's just crazy and they just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay, that's how we doing it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
uh,
The
yeah,
Zodiac killer. Zodiac killer stuff.
yeah, man. So, but it could go under. That's what makes social engineering so insidious is that uh people that might not necessarily have anything to do with that, but just their character, their disposition is murderous. They'll pick up on that and enact it from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like necessarily converted into a way of thinking or a worldview. They already there. They just like it's just something new and adventurous for them. And
That's
so
crazy.
yeah. So it works on so many different levels. And then the young people, the ones that are very impressionable, makes it just glorified, just like you say about the new Ku Klux Klans. You know what I'm saying? That's like their military information arm. If you think about military, and they have information arms that put out messages to friendly targets and enemy targets and neutral targets. So yeah, in a way, it can be seen as an arm of that because it's like a secret society as well. So you know, I can see that happening. I can see links with those organizations. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Um, it's just unfortunate that the same target is falling for the trick,
Exactly.
and so
It's so strong that you got people who we consider our brothers and sisters. They when I be saying they the new Ku Klux Clowns, it's because they're doing their work through social engineering, through how you just explained it earlier. You know, it's what do you think about that? It's like they doing
mm-hmm.
exact, yeah. It's like they don't gotta do like Willie Lynch days and everything, because we already have
Yeah.
that with technology on top of it, and you got people. Our culture is like the number one culture. Everybody get ideas, fashion, or swag, whatever you want to call it, musically entertained. And just for the fact that our culture is on the top of the platform, it's in full effect. What's cool right now? I'm telling you, it's cool to disrespect a deceased brother or sister in the rap hip hop culture. Um, I'm in Florida right now, like you already know. Can you hear me well?
I hear you perfectly, bro. I just muted
Oh,
myself. Go
okay,
ahead.
yes,
Do
sir.
your thing.
All right. Yeah, so in Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida, you got it been happening in Chicago. It's called drill music, just like people who on the football team got murdered. Um, it could be somebody baby mother or somebody mom who in the house and they done send a hail of bullets to the house and hit the mother up, and they're gonna be like, we smoking on Deborah Pack and all that. So people from the outside looking in, that's why I call it the gladiator sport. Like, it's this is what they want to see. Like with DJ Academics, he don't say it, but his actions show that I like to see these people kill each other. And he's one of us. I'm saying he's an agent. You got people who are other vloggers like Adam 22, No Jumper Podcast, and them who are not from our culture or race, and they could just fall right along on it, like the news channel. So these platforms are taking over the news channels, and they're influencing more heavily than a news channel.
Yeah. One of the
You-
things that I think about is there's an old piece of propaganda you probably seen, but it's a picture of two white guys. One of them, I think, is in the Ku Klux Klan, and another one got
Okay.
some suit or something, and they shaking hands, and it's a banner that reads "Worse than slavery," and below it, and he down, and his woman with him, and they both down. The white dude standing, shaking
Yeah.
hands, and so yeah, man, it's crazy how that works, and that's definitely a part of this thing. What's so odd to me is that it still goes on now that we have so much external like threats, and I just find that very odd how it's like the rulers, they have this racial uh they have these racial superiority theories that they use to control the masses, and by different means, whether it's in one group you solidify a group, you separate it from its another group, and you have internal tensions, you know, tensions between the groups. That kind of system is very chaotic, and I don't think that they can control it. I think that it's like a technology that's beyond humans, because when you think about the hatred that people have for one another, the fear that they have of one another, the suspicion, um, they're shared. You know what I'm saying? Amongst the groups, no group is innocent. And so they can't control this, and it's like it eats itself. So that's what we're seeing. Like, we have threats from other nations, but we're eating ourselves because we've unleashed a system for control that is not controllable. And so
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see this just happen. And but still there are people that, you know, understand that we need to work together across groups within our group. Uh yeah, so it's still hope, I'm saying, but it's just crazy how this thing is structured. But yeah, go ahead. Do your yeah.
We can't, it's like we can't even get, we already know that this racial motivation is like another layer to the onion. We already know that it gets deeper than that. But we at a time where our consciousness with most of our people or just around the whole world can't even get across that layer. So that's why we looking at, we like, we already see in the head of the whole thing of what they doing, but it's very few of us who can't get across that first layer. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it really has a lot to do with the people, the ones around, and the ways of thinking that they show, and that we learn is you just learn by observation. So the people that we're around, they're not really thinking about those kind of things. Like wisdom is like and insight and discernment in life. It comes to us in different measure, and it's not, if even in its name itself, it's like showing you it's not playing. This ain't a game. Like, this don't just go to everybody. Some people just lack it, you know. But we can ask and get wisdom and understanding, but we don't all have it. And so yeah, man, that's the only, for me, that makes the most sense, because otherwise it's like, so what is it with our thinking? Like, maybe we are inferior. Why don't other groups think the way we think? Well, what's up with us? And it's like, nah, I'm not going there, because that's not true. Like, we've done some amazing things in this country. Like,
It's just the
from the
aspect. Go ahead.
from the beginning and right on, like, never stop contributing to the society in positive ways. And so yeah, man, but these young brothers, I would say definitely look at these people, the young brother to the young brother, the young sister. Look at these people, whether they male or female, as they selling you something. Look at they music like it's basically a commercial. And so you just don't know who the companies are behind them. You don't know what the product is. It's like if you was to watch a commercial on TV and it's a can and it's just white, like you don't see no name on it, nothing. Just the ain't got no label. Where this come from? Where's it shipped from? That's basically what's going on.
Yeah, that remind me of something real quick. With how you saying the commercial thing, because we got artists like, I remember it was an interview a while ago I saw with Meg Thee Stallion, and she was on a gamer vlog on podcast, and she said the girl asked her, do she design her music videos or choreographer, the brands, the signs, and all that? She kind of replied in like a funny remark by saying, "Oh no, all I do is just bring the booty." She pretty much saying that she just bring her body there, and they tell her what to do, this and that. Yeah, she did just laugh like ha ha ha, and I'm just like, wow, it's powerful. I'm like, it's very
Bro,
powerful. Go ahead.
you serious? That's what she said.
I could easily pull it up right now, man. Easily, it was on a you. She was playing on a video game, Mortal Kombat, and there was this girl. This girl was kind of like biracial, and you could tell she was just infatuated by Meg. Like her eyes got wide. She was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm so glad he's doing this." Eyes like this. So she's already influenced and intrigued, and Meg just looking like, "Okay, okay, no, I like what it is." And then she asked, she was like, "Do you choreographer, design your videos, da da da?" And she was like, "No, all I do is just bring the booty." And fact, she said, just like that. I wish I could have won a StreamYard on my computer so I could show you.
Oh no, I don't. I ain't mean to put you on the spot. I'm really just. I really. It sounds like something she'll say, so I ain't even tripping on that. It's just crazy that she just put it like that though.
Yeah,
I had and I had experience with a sister I met a few months ago, and she told me she was educated. And I had to talk to her to get to know this or get the sense of this, because by the way she presented herself, she didn't really look like she was in that stuff like school and stuff like that.
yeah.
So and she told me like,
Oh, you kind of glitched up real quick, my dog. You hear me? I had to reconnect. Oh, give me a second, real quick, y'all. Hopefully, that's not me on my end. Let me see something real quick. All right, let me go to my channel. I'm on my laptop right now. Let me see what's up. Hold on, am I glitching? Hopefully, I'm not glitching. Um, let's see if that's me. Meantime, we'll see what's going on with it do. All right, I'm back on. Let me see if I think his internet connection probably got off. But until then, I'm gonna try to test these videos out right here real quick.
Sometimes I can tell a nigga's a real nigga out of shape. When a nigga built like a refrigerator, you know he's a shooter. Facts. Let me tell you this. The shooters are usually extra skinny because they like, I don't know what it is. Niggas is lactose intolerant or they're just shaped weird. You feel me? It's just two of them. It's two bills of a shooter. A shooter is either skinny as fuck, you see every rib, that you know he can't fight, period. I've never seen a buff shooter. Let's be honest. Have you ever seen a buff shooter?
Yeah, I'll let you know right there. Let's see what's going on. That I just played that. Hopefully y'all could hear it. But that was I'm gonna keep going until old brother come back on. His internet probably went out. Hopefully my internet good. But that video I just played was by academics. And I know Big Facts Podcast talked about it. And a while back, I actually been on the side where it was like, dang, it's not his fault. You know, you could just tell somebody to be a attack dog, which was true. Okay, let me see. My bad. I probably got that Obama phone. Is it my fault? You gotta get that mute, I think. Oh, you got.
I had the hardwire in, man. I'm not gonna use Wi-Fi for this.
Oh, man. It's all good, bro.
Okay, but yeah, man. I was just saying, like what you was mentioning with the females, and like I seen met a chick, and the way she was presenting herself was nothing like what was in her mind, and it was like the for some reason, well, feminism that's a worldview. It's like it's a weaponized worldview, and one of the things it does is I know this is interesting is to men looking at a woman, there's certain ways she could present herself that could hide good things about herself, but accentuate things that might just be appealing on a low level. And it tends to do that a lot. Um, it's unfortunate, man, because she was real smart. Sister was real smart, but yeah, she kind of played herself by the way she was moving.
Didn't know it though. It's weaponized though. It's very strong.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. Sometimes, to be honest, like shouts out to LJ Simmons Mine's dead. When it comes to like, you know, like if you're a dead or slave, but I'm gonna take his philosophy and I'm gonna use it on that on feminism and rap culture in general. It's like most of them don't even know. Like they don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're doing. You get what I'm saying? So put it this way: with LJ Simmons Mine's dead, not to go off topic, I'm gonna digress a little. He speaks on uh people, they be like, he called people who are in debt like slaves, conscious slaves, and all. That's just his little signature way. But he's saying that people who use their personal credit and they just go out, you know, swiping their credit card and they really think they own this and they really think they own that, and they call these students forever loans. He was like, if you do the math in front of their face and show them that now you don't own this, you in debt, they could choose, they don't see it because they don't know what they're, you know, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're saying. It's like they're already programmed. You get what I'm saying? You be muted up.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
And my bad. When you talk, do you hear like some bad sounds on my end? You hear yourself like an echo?
No, I don't hear any. Do you?
No, I'm good. I'm good on my end. All right, go ahead.
Okay. No, man. I feel what you're saying. Like, it's just odd, man. Like I was saying about how certain decision making and making wise decisions. Yeah, we all in different ways. It's just wild when it comes to money because, especially school, because my experience was that. And I was just telling a friend earlier, it was like starting in ninth grade, I really had to focus on that because, you know, it was just my mom's and she was like approaching retirement age because she was in her 40s when I was born. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm thinking to myself, like, nah, I'm not trying to, I gotta get it. I gotta get it. So I started playing sports to for the exercise. Just you know, by the grace of God, it got me some attention on that end for transitioning into college and then testing, man. You know, passed the ACT and in Alabama You can go to any school for they got you for the basis. And so yeah, but there was classes that I just, you know, by not acting a fool, I guess, in school, I just got put in this one class where all I did was sit in front of a computer and search for scholarships. And that's when and it's colleges too. And that's when I learned how many colleges we got and how many scholarships is out there. And it's like, you know, that's the best way. I wouldn't recommend anybody go to 4 year without scholarship. Um, you know, people that go into law and medicine, that's different. But if you can, young brother, young sister, please, you know, focus, start thinking about, you know, what you want to do, and there's ways to get it paid for. There
Yeah,
are. There's a bunch of ways. But you gotta hit it though, and that's the thing. Being a young person, you within yourself, you have to have some wisdom to say, you know what, I don't want to just play this evening. Or this, you know, y'all big. I won't say big kids, but y'all kind of are big kids in a way, and y'all still be playing. So you gotta have wisdom to be like, you know what, is this play? Something just ain't the same. If you can,
mm-hmm.
if you feel that as a young person in your head, that's wisdom, and you're gonna start moving in a different way. Especially if you're a man, you're gonna start thinking more about the future. And
Exactly.
so yeah, man, it's just some people, you know, they don't move like that. And I'm not saying people don't make any mistakes. That's not what I'm saying. But you look at the totality of their life, and you can see whether a person moved wisely or not. This is objective. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, well, I don't think that was wise, and then you're gonna have a bunch of people arguing. It's gonna be like, nah, like look at his life as a whole, you know. So yeah.
You got that. That is true. You got people who like to earlier today. I saw this YouTube video. I was typing David Goggins because I read his book a while back, but I like how he kind of, you know, aggressively attack, you know, uses his verbiage. But long story short, I came across this video when I typed in his name. It said David Goggins, and is he, you know, I forgot the title of it, but pretty much it was these two guys on there, right? Two European guys. I don't know if they've been had a military background, but they were saying, I haven't read his book. I don't know too much about him, but I never heard about him in the Navy SEALs. Pretty much just kind of like, you know, it's like the tactic that you use in your book. It's like deflecting. It's using some type of propaganda saying, I haven't read his book. I don't know too much about him, but people in the Navy SEALs don't know too much about him. They don't know his deployments. They don't know this and that, wooty woo. And then that's when their opinion come. He was like, I just think that it's not Navy SEALs what he's speaking. He's speaking about something else, his business, which is okay and all that. Now that's the seesaw effect right there of propaganda. Like it's like, you know, like hold on, let me cover myself up. I understand this and that, but pretty much he's trying to bring him down, like how you said, like he's just trying to discredit his whole thing. That kind of piggyback off your thing.
Yeah, man. That sound like, was this guy saying this? Was he in the Navy SEALs himself?
I believe so. I'm not sure. Don't hold your breath on that.
Okay. Well, if he wasn't, I would say that's transfer, because he basically putting a lot of stuff about himself out and saying that David Goggins are those things, which basically he is. But
Okay.
if he was a Navy SEAL, then it would just be name calling, because at that point he's just trying to influence other people. It's not about whether or not David Goggins was a Navy SEAL or not. It's more about, what do you say David Goggins is, based on your own prejudice already in your head. If you got a disposition to lean towards, oh, it's a brother, man, he ain't really got nothing going on, then that's where you gonna go with it. And that's what he's counting on. And this kind of environment, that kind of messaging is effective, because we live in a racialized society.
So for put it this way, when I think about it, he's not in a Navy SEAL because he said he talked to a lot of Navy SEALs, and he's like, they don't talk like that. They don't, they actually talk about Navy SEAL stuff. And he said there's like over 500 of them. So he don't categorize himself as a Navy SEAL. That was a tactic and from that video, I believe failed, but still it could be successful in many other ways because it had like 3,000 dislikes and probably 200 likes. So they were the minority in that section of that aspect. If they find a way to create a majority, you get what I'm saying? This is for anything. So correct me. Like for instance, while I speak on these rappers and they're talking about dissing their deceased brothers and sisters of them, and if I go on a World Star video and I comment, this is, demon, this is not cool, da da da, whoop de whoop. If it could show the thumbs down button, it'll show like 5,000 thumbs down and probably 20 likes. And I have like about 400 comments of people like, shut your blah, 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 nigga, you ain't on shit. So what do you think about that? Can you correct me?
Okay, are you saying when you criticize the rappers?
Not even criticize, but it's like saying like this ain't right, or not like how
Uh,
so did that guy criticize David Goggins? What do you think he did?
well, I don't know the story. I was just going off of what you said,
Yeah.
and you said that he said this thing about him that wasn't true,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, some a minority of people were upvoting it. It's agitation.
Okay.
It's agitation propaganda. And so yeah, and it's the thing about it is like just taking it to that sea metaphor. If you look at the ocean, you see the waves, they kind of sometimes go into each other. And that's the thing. When you got agitation going on, you still have integration, but it's just more muted and subtle because what they're counting on are for people, like I said, that are in solidarity around hatred. It doesn't have to be racialized. You could go the envy route because I think I know this David Goggins guy because there's a military guy that has military people on, and I think I've seen David Goggins on his show. So
Yeah.
I know this dude would have done. That's all he do is interview military people. But
Oh, trust
anyway,
me, I know the stolen valor thing. He's not stolen valor. Just saying that he's not. Put it this way, to piggyback off you. He's saying that he ain't heard about him in deployment. Not saying he's stolen valor. His badges are legit and everything, but he's just saying that what he's putting in that book about how he had lost 140 pounds in less than 3 months. He's saying that's not the same energy that he's having in deployment, like saving somebody's life, or you get what I'm saying? That's what he's trying to discredit. Which is
okay. Oh yeah, I don't know about that. That sounds like really exaggerated.
exactly.
143 pounds in 3 months. Like what?
I mean
Like what
that
was
might
he
be that might be
doing?
true. That might be true. I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying on how the guy was discrediting him, saying that okay, but let's say he believed him losing 140 pounds or 104 pounds in 3 months, right? But
104 pounds.
I think it's 104 pounds. Don't hold your
Okay.
breath. But
Okay.
he's saying that that energy he's using on to lose weight, all that, his book where he wrote it off like you can't hurt me and none of that. He's saying that same energy is not being reciprocated when he was serving for the country, military. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, agitation though.
Oh yeah, man. Definitely. I would have to really analyze that messaging. I'm just kind of going off what you're saying, and I
Yeah,
can see little things. But yeah, man. It's always somebody that's doing something like that, especially on social media, and
exactly.
that's just how it is, man. And that's another thing. It goes to the envy. That's another thing about like our society, and one of the things that it does is by looking at people having the images of success thrown up in our face all the time, whether it's on a physical level with one's body, if it's on a material level with they talking about money. It could be on a mental level. Somebody could be very intelligent. It could be on the spiritual level. Somebody just like, you know, somebody just always at ease. They just exude peace. Things like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
People can be envious of that because their life could be in turmoil. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I get you saying, why you always so happy? Nigga? Like, what's going on? Like, you know that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, it's like it's a lot of envy, and it just goes along with the territory. And so, hey, I
Well, that's good.
personally, yeah.
You should talk about this on your book. So you saying what I got this military. Oh, let me see this crap. Military art. This part of your book right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before you get to it, I'm gonna say one thing. This guy, crap, Soldier Chris. Okay, 704 Soldier Chris. He's a truck driver, right? But he brings like 6 racks in a week. He's a good, a brother of ours, preaching the street stuff and all that. But he went and he been driving his truck, transportation on a military base. And this is with that propaganda on politics, right? So on his Instagram, he probably been like, he asked the dude, he was like, he had some military person at the gate talk about, you think Biden gonna take our guns and all that? And he was like, I don't think that's gonna happen. He said, I don't think we're gonna allow it. He's in the military speaking on it, talking about the civilians ain't gonna allow it. They're gonna either shoot out with the police or da da da. And he's like, all right, I feel you. He was like, well, what happened if that order is given to you? What y'all gonna do? And his response was, we gotta follow orders. So can you speak about that?
Yeah, I think that there's gonna have to be something big that happens, and these shootings that have been going on, that is providing like a baseline,
Yeah.
but it's not enough, I think, to get it over the hill to where, because once you get outside of certain city centers, man, it's a big expanse that is gonna have to be accounted for, and
Oh yeah.
it's like people can hide things in this
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, the Minutemen. Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, it would have to be. Here's something I think is possible.
Go ahead.
If within the black community, I think that it has it's already going on in certain cities like Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So we see what's going on like with that and how that works, and other groups see that too. So I think within our community there's enough people that are uncomfortable with guns, that something can be pushed in certain cities.
Okay. I get
But
what you're saying.
yeah, as far as nationwide, it would be like the country turning on its own messaging, because for
Oh,
so many years they pushed this wild wild west, they pushed this pioneer spirit, and America has from the very beginning been a violent place. So it's like you might need a gun.
yeah.
It don't matter what kind of messages is going on. It's just the spirit of the area could be so violent. And so and as a defense mechanism, because at one time, and so that's tied up into the military. So on one hand, it's like the military is not simply following orders in a sense. It's more, this is a militarized society. So yeah, but those individual young people that are gonna be having to carry out those orders, they signed a contract to do that. And so yeah, that's a sticky situation. You know, the penalties are high for insubordination and things like that. So
It's crazy. I've
yeah,
been government property for 4 years, so I can speak on how that is. It's like, where you put it this way. There's some people who go AWOL. There's some people who don't comply to orders. There's some people, and the thing about it, as compared to a civilian, the repercussions are 3 times as worse because you're government property. So you could be espionage, you could be UCMJ, like terrorists. You could, what was that dude who then sold government information to Russia? I think you could be on that level just off of that. But the thing is, what happens if it's many people doing that? Because there's younger people who are getting who younger, the more younger people are coming in the military and they're more rebellious. That's the time to be rebellious. You get what I'm saying?
So you're saying the young people coming in are getting more and more rebellious?
Yes, and the military is like it's the new army. It's not the old army anymore. This for the whole branches. Put it this way. So back then, they said they used to put hands on you, drop kick you and all that, get in your face, going ham. When I was in there, it was like, okay, get in your face and yell, but that ain't shit to me. But they ain't put your hands on you and all that. So when I got out, now it's like a stress card thing. So it's saying that if you getting yelled at, you can pull out a stress card and they can't yell at you for no more for the rest of that day until the next day. You see what I'm saying? You gonna mute yourself real quick, man.
Oh man,
So you see what I'm saying, right?
that is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, like what kind of fighters are they expecting to have more so? Uh, but there's always going to be tough guys.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm not trying to discredit them. No, there's some straight, like I'm down. I don't care. Like, machine killers up in there, who love that stuff. And I call it Stockholm syndrome because I have fell victim to that when I was overseas at one point. And it was time like you're like, dang, I don't want to leave here. So that's very strong too.
Oh,
So
really? Hold
yeah.
up. Talk about that, bro. Talk about that. Like you did not want to leave. You wanted to keep
Oh,
working.
in Afghanistan. So it's like when you deploy there and you're doing like, or even Korea. So it's like you're working all the way. Sunday is like kind of like a half day, but you still it's deployment. It's like a war zone, so you gotta be on your P's and Q's. But you like 4 hours or 5 hours of sleep, and you're just constantly working, and you're getting paid, like non-tax money and everything. It's like it's so institutionalized, kind of. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, and it's risky. You don't know if you're gonna get shot, blown up that day. It's so much close calls. You travel on helicopters and shit. But when it's time to leave, it's like you're so I can't explain it, but from my experience, it's like, dang, I didn't want to leave that shit. I stay here. You know what I'm saying? And I had people who were actually contractors, like this guy from Jamaica. He was a DOD contractor over there. He been over there for like 8 years. He said he done paid two of his granddaughter's colleges and all that. And he got bought his house and everything. It's like he had that. He had a Stockholm syndrome thing. Like, if I'm using the word correctly, it's like he didn't want to kind of go. He's like he's kind of happy being over there with them.
Yeah, I mean, you could just like, I mean, being a soldier is like a heart thing in a way. Just like a person, they could teach or they could be a teacher. You
Yeah.
know, you could be in the armed services or you could be a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are warriors, so that's okay. But I feel what you're saying though, because the Stockholm syndrome part, the part about that is that it's some being attached to some entity that's done you wrong,
Yeah.
and yes, being a social collective in this world system is going to be corruption. There's going to be different problems, and I've observed that. I haven't been in the military, but I've had family and have observed things, working with people and things like that. And yeah, it's like you got to look out for yourself.
Yeah, put it this way: where your mindset at, you may not have been in the service. But how your mindset is, you could be like the overview, like the psychologist of it. Like if you had hidden agendas or I don't know that word, bad motivations or something, you could kind of assume how they're going to react and how they're going to feel as soldiers, the pawns. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And there's the enemies of the country. They're definitely watching this stuff. I
Oh yeah,
mean, they that's their job, and
yeah.
so what I've heard for years is that the like started with Obama, there was a lot heavier use of special forces in precise attacks, and it also provided a lot of cover for making big congressional moves. So it looks like the military is shifting its warfare strategy in a way. So uh, the softness of the thing could be within our military deception. Um, that's a proper term within information operations. It's meal deck for short. So yeah, because I've seen some things coming out of China that show a weakness amongst the men. And I know that, yeah, they got their own special forces too, and they moving in ways that are not being shown on media because they can control the information space, so they can make moves, and nobody's gonna say nothing about it. America, they know it's because of some spy satellite or something like that. And so, yeah, I think it's military deception on our behalf might play a role in it. How, yeah, these dudes is weak, but nah, they got a team of hitters, teams upon teams upon teams, and they get the job done.
Yeah, that's facts right there. You got teams upon teams, but like how you said with China, and it's in full effect as we speak. Full effect. I mean, we see what's going on, but it's just a mass like it's actually kind of just pure, like I don't know what you want to call it, but just coming across like how you said wisdom. Not many people are made to catch it or to get it. So when I be reading your book, we talk about the military art. Can you do your explanation on this chapter right here? Since we on that subject.
Okay, so in that chapter is basically I take a metaphor from Jacques Ellul, which I use his propaganda theory as my basis, my starting point. That's how I learned about propaganda. And so he uses the metaphor sea, the ocean, the sea. And he says that on the top level of the waves, that's active propaganda. It's always moving. It's here doing this 1 minute, it's doing that the next. But the level of the sea, like if you stand on the beach and you just look out, it's a level. You don't. It ain't up going up and down. It's just there. That is sub propaganda because it's always there, and you're always being uh constantly bombarded with it. It's built into you what you think of yourself as an American, as black, white, gay, straight, all of that. So what I do is I take it and I make it into worldview warfare. Is propaganda is just a component of that. So I gotta deal with more things than that. So I looked at the hydrosphere. The hydrosphere is the motion, the system from space down to from the macrocosm of space down to the microcosm of molecules. What is the sea? How does it work? And so I use that metaphor to compare worldview warfare and explain worldview warfare. So yeah, it's based on nature. It's got the geometric forms that are found in nature and how they've been used in our culture symbolically.
Okay, boom. So I'm about to get you started like on that, like how you was on the Big Facts podcast. Use any examples like Adolf Hitler, or you could do America, or you could do the African American community, the culture, the rap culture. Like for
Okay.
instance, example. You talk about
So you want to like compare it to an image that's in the book,
yeah,
or
the
we
images in
will
the
when
book,
you
like how
want to just throw out? Okay.
like
So
Hitler.
what image you want to start with?
I mean, whatever you comfortable with that you got more information on. Let's for example, Adolf
Mm-hmm.
Hitler, and you be like the propaganda. You be like, okay, the currents, the wars that's moving,
Mm-hmm.
it's the propaganda of Germany or something like that. And then you look at the sub propaganda, like when you just look at the ocean, you just see the ocean. You could say like that's Germany, and then you could say that Nazi this and that in the water. You get what I'm saying? And
Okay. All right. So here's what I'll do.
yeah,
To give people to walk through. So we're gonna start with the zeitgeist. So the zeitgeist is the you can think of the zeitgeist as the way of thinking
yeah,
wherever you are, and the way that goes now. It's not just like everybody thinks the same way. It's more like the general current of the thought. So different ways would be if we right now was to go to Vietnam. When we step off the plane, it's gonna be totally different surroundings. Humidity is gonna be something we're not familiar with. That's just the start. Then we gotta talk. Then we gotta see the people. They looking at us. We looking at them. We not moving like them. We don't look nothing like them. And it's so much change. And so they have their own way. We have our own way. And that's what the zeitgeist is. So within any kind of culture, we can analyze Nazi Germany. We can analyze the Jim Crow system in America. Anywhere you want to go, they're gonna have that. So that is the zeitgeist. And so what the reason why I use that symbol is because that symbol signifies something that is common across many cultures. Many societies throughout history, throughout world history. And so the next level we have down is technique. So technique is basically all of the ways that me and you and all our ancestors and everybody else, when it comes to survival on our own strength, without just like me, we got to do this. We don't appeal to God or anything. This is within us. We get the glory for this. This is on us. That's technique. It pushed it when it's pushed towards survival on the physical level, even on the spiritual level. A person could reject the creator and still pursue spiritual means towards an end, a spiritual end. And so yeah, and it's based on the thing about it though is within ourself there's this tendency towards gratifying the self, glorifying the self. And when we do those things and think in those selfish terms, we end up hurting people. Like we've all done this in our own life. We all have experiences where because of something selfish that we did, we hurt somebody. Yeah. And so, or somebody hurt us real bad because they were selfish. And so that's kind of like but it's the best that we can do is mankind. So capitalism. There are problems with capitalism. To say that capitalism is, we know this as a system, it has produced goods. There's a certain way that we're used to living. If we were to go to a non-capitalist society, we would feel some kind of way, because there are goods to this system. And it's like one of those things. People are doing the best that they can. There's going to be, but because of that thing, self-glorification, self-gratification, you have to have some form of slavery with capitalism. There must be. Oof. It must be there. And this is not stopped. It was chattel slavery. Now it's debt slavery.
Oh, snap. Here we go.
So it must be this in capitalism. And so, yes, that's technique. Now, propaganda is, let's look at capitalism and just narrow it down to the rhetorical aspect, the messaging of capitalism. That's where hip hop comes in. Hip hop is the messaging. It can be seen and has been used as messaging capitalism. And so, yeah, whenever we see the videos, for the most part, those brothers is working with some money. There's not the guys from Chicago. I think part of their appeal was that them brothers look like they didn't have nothing, and they like you could look at them, and besides maybe if someone was selling dope, but then it's like, why are you showing that money? And then it's crazy because they was already shooting each other, but it's like, no, you don't want to just tell them you got some money over here too.
Yeah.
So them brothers wasn't really shining like that. They were just on some more warrior, misguided warrior, you know.
Yes,
And
sir.
so that helped them to catch on, because the thing about it, like I said earlier, about the things that the success stories is put in our face, that's part of the messaging of capitalism. And that is carried through hip hop. When you see those brothers like Nas, classic hip hop, Nas always looking fresh. He
Yeah.
always got fresh stuff going on as far as that go, being just fly, you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man, that's propaganda. So as we see, using the hydrosphere, we're going from the largest level, which in the hydrosphere, the when you go on to take a cruise, the tides that rise and fall, that's being pulled by the moon.
Oh, see? Boom. Now we going somewhere now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest level. And the sun heats the earth, and that affects the temperature, and that drives life within the ocean.
Yeah.
So you see how we go from the highest level of the driver of man, the zeitgeist, to now we're going down further. When we're in the technique, we're in the clouds. We're
Hmm.
coming down. When we get the propaganda, we're at the ocean,
Yeah.
the sea. Now, when we go deeper, we're starting to look at things like, okay, what is it about propaganda, this thing? Um, you when it's delivered, so much of it is it appeals to us because it must appeal to us in order for us to accept it. So it appeals to us on some level that's pleasing to us because it's going to promote uh okay, the one of the best ways to appeal to us is through this, because we're in this system and there's so much insecurity and things like that. That's why we have technique, because a rock could fall, an animal could come out of somewhere, anything can happen. Still to this day, the same stuff was killing our ancestors 2,000 years ago. It are killing people today, like same kind of scenarios and stuff.
Yeah.
So we, because of this, we have technique. It's the best we can do. That thing about us, that what is it about us that says, I don't care, I want to do what I want to do? Like,
Ooh.
where does that come from? What is it about the conscious where we hurt? And I don't mean, if I'm not talking in soldiers as far as hurting people, I'm not talking about that. I
In
mean,
general, I get you saying.
yes, when we know somebody is innocent or weak
Hmm.
and we take advantage of them.
Yeah.
It could be a female,
Yeah.
it could be a homeless person, it could be a person that's physically disabled or mentally disabled.
Yeah.
It could be somebody that's old. We have an old parent or
Oh,
something
parent.
like that.
Yeah.
It could be because somebody's in a society, a social structure that is racialized. One person is on the high side and the other person is on the low, and the person is on the high side just because they can. They take advantage of that person on the low side. What is that about us within ourselves? That's what is the sting in propaganda and debate, because it's going to appeal to that thing within us. And once that grows, it's almost like a virus inside a host. But so now we're getting smaller,
Yeah.
and we're starting to look at I talk about wicked deception, and this is not deception simply in the on the natural realm. of things when you deal with science. I'm talking about going beyond that realm, um, because science only deals with the physical,
Is okay.
and so and for people that think that's kind of strange, just think about this: where do ideas come from? In scientific discovery, so often you hear about people like the guy that helped develop the double helix, that structure. He talked about how he was swimming and the idea just came to him. He had been working, doing his work. He wanted to go get some exercise. Now, then we use this scientific thing in our world and we develop technologies based off of it. These technologies work, they function, you can measure them. That's science. Scientific discovery is not scientific.
Oh, Brent, say that one more time, please, so they could understand what you're saying.
Scientific discovery is not scientific because it's not in the physical realm. It's in the imaginal realm, the realm where we go when we go to sleep and we have dreams,
That
the
part.
realm where we go where, depending on what kind of drug we take, we enter into that realm and we can see things.
That you don't normally see. Go ahead, my bad.
Exactly. And it gets so deep
Mm-hmm.
with the Ebola and ayahuasca, Africa and South America, respectively. There's group hallucinations where the ground is opening up. Our buddy is being dragged down into hell by some demon. Me, the girl that came with us, that dude, we don't know him. He just was there, but he was tripping with us. We all had to get together and pull this dude out of hell.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the type of experiences they have.
Mm-hmm.
This happens.
Yeah.
So that realm is there. We tap into it when those inspirations come. So that is the level that this deception works on.
Well, where that come from? It's no scientific way of explaining that, like with thoughts, because we got many people to be like, oh, it's easy on how a laptop work. First, you got binaries, it converts to frames, and it be transported through TCP, UDP. You know, it's so easy to be like, oh, it's this and that, da, da, da. But when we come to thoughts, like how you said with a double helix guy, how can you explain that? Yeah,
Yeah.
go
And
ahead.
yeah, you're right, brother. And so the thing about it is, within that, first of all, we're dealing with scientism as a driving worldview in the West, where there are worldviews based on, if I can't see it, observe it, test it, reproduce it at will, it's not real. It's not practical. Is a word that really encapsulate the spirit of that practical. And America had a history. They promoted that message, practicability. So yeah, I can understand the cats that might come from an atheist perspective or something like that. It's just like, man, there's nothing out there. What are you guys talking about? But no, it's one. If you do the knowledge, you'll see. Yeah, some out there, and a lot of those people, they have experienced things, but because of other things in their life, they push back. But yeah, that is the level of wicked deception.
Okay, that's
And
what you're saying. But
so
go ahead.
now at this level, we've gone underneath the sea. We're talking about what drives the sea. All right. So that's going underneath propaganda. Now, when we like to round this out to finish it at the lowest level, the microcosmic level, we got what are the components of the sea. This is when you start getting into chemistry heavy, moving like we're moving throughout the sciences in this model. Uh different sciences come in at different places. Now we're at the molecular level. We've got the two components of the sea. They boil down to two: the water molecule and the salt molecule. And so at that point, what we have is looking at that thing, like I said earlier, where does this come from? Why do we treat each other like this? Why do we treat ourselves poorly sometimes? Uh, at that point, we start getting to the spiritual heart. And that really is like the foundation of things, everything that comes out of us as self. You can back it up to the spiritual heart. You
I
see what
get
I'm
you
saying?
saying, my bad. I get you saying right there because I understand. Keep going. I understand fully. That's the foundation where everything comes from. The energy. Go ahead.
Exactly. So every word we speak, it comes, that's where it comes out of. You know, when we're being real, even when we're not being real, because we know when we're not being real. And why, well, you know, what, there's certain people that are like that. They just be fronting all the time. And if you know them, especially if like they kin to you or something, you know, and they be all on social media talking crazy, and you just sitting up there looking at them like, come on, man. So yeah, that spiritual heart, that's what's in us. Some dudes are good dudes. Guys, stories about soldiers being interacting with other soldiers, having respect for a soldier that's a part of your enemy's group. Some people just good people. You
Yeah.
could be in prison. Dude, that's a crazy place. That's a dangerous place too. But some dudes are good. And so that comes out of their heart. That's who they are.
True.
And so yeah, the other level is the dealing with the salt and how um it plays such a role in life and who we are as organisms. What good is the sea for us? How does it help us? What role does it play in our life? And with salt, that's crucial. And so from a biological level even to a ritual level. And so the thing about that is the ultimate end to all of this stuff. Once you get past the different levels of how we deal with each other as people and you start moving further into the spiritual, you start to see that there is something else that's bigger than us going on. What's the end goal? What's the end game to all of this stuff? Why? What's a motivating factor behind this stuff that has nothing to do with us? Because we don't win.
Oh yeah.
You
Okay.
know, if you look at these groups like the racial fighting, so much of we see time and time again examples of things that happen like reaping and sowing. Certain things were done to one group. Now, generations later, their group, something's happening to them.
Exactly.
Drugs being pushed in this community, generation go by, this community over here full of drugs. We know the family that put the drugs out, they got fined. They ain't go to jail. Back in the day, such and such did such and such. Did nobody go to jail? They just killed. They just hung him up from a tree, man. Did nobody go to jail?
Exactly. Yeah. Go ahead.
So they don't win. They don't win. So we don't win when we hurt each other like this.
Mm-hmm.
Something else is going on. What's the deal? What's the big deal? Why can't we just move on? We say this all the time. Why can't our people just listen? Why can't the government just do right? Why, you know what I'm saying? Why these women walking around here with all these high expectations? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we gonna get
It's
to that.
yeah,
Go ahead.
like there's something going on, and there's enslavement to it. like you kind of pointed to it earlier when you talked about why do when these people are doing these things and you can sit up here and explain it to them and they just like, you know, it's almost like there's a they they're being pulled in, they're being blinded.
And they don't know. That's the point. They don't know it.
That's
It's
the thing.
yeah.
So it's like they don't know that they're blinded. So you're saying, "Hey man, you see that? Look," and they're just looking like, What you talking about, man? I can't because they blinded." And so yeah, that's the ultimate. That's the end goal, and that's what keeps this thing moving too. It's a yeah. So that's what I refer to as revolution.
And I'm gonna help you at the end. When you say with people who come back and watch this replay, and I definitely gonna do timestamps. I got you. I promise you. But when you say that, look over there. You see that happening, and they looking and they don't see it, and you saying they're blind. Technically, my assumption is that they're not blind physically in the eyes. They're just not. That's why I said understanding is the most important thing in this world. They don't have the understanding to grasp that, like how we communicate and how we understand your book and how I'm trying to understand more of it. You get what I'm saying? They don't have no
Yeah.
understanding. So that's
Mm.
the blindness I think that you're talking about, right?
That's exactly it. That's
Mm.
exactly it, brother. That's it. You got it. And
Appreciate it.
yeah, man, you sharp T, you sharp fella. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So
I'm trying to get on your level, man. It's not linear. That's all I gotta say. It's not linear. It's just understanding from you and many others, man. Especially you. This book is the foundation. I keep showing it. It's the blueprint right here. If you get too out in politics, if you get too out in women high expectations, or people talking about killing each other, all this and that, to center yourself when watching this replay, please get this book. I dropped the link in the description down below. This will help center you back up to the whole understanding of it. But yeah, that's why I respect you to the most, brother. But
I appreciate that, man. And yeah, I respect you for being a warrior. I do. Cause you was
uh,
out there and I'm not really that's not me. That's
I
not
feel you.
me. You know what I'm saying? And so we need brothers like you that have the warrior, but have the mind and the even common sense. What people refer to as common sense is like an aspect of wisdom and understanding.
Exactly. Yep.
So we need that, man. We need brothers to be able to see you coming up through the networking. I got some material too, a book that maybe can help you. It's like a networking book. I don't know. You might already have it, but if you don't have to buy it.
Mm.
And you see, I have to find some way of getting it to you. I'll get in. We'll talk about it. But yeah, man, that's awesome. And other people, other young brothers will be able to see that your progress as
Hold,
you
hold on, real quick. I had got kicked out. You said my bad. My phone act crazy. So you said it
Mhm.
was a book. If I ain't already got it, and got to buy it, and that's when I had got kicked out. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's a networking book. I was looking through some files of mine, and there was this whole book. I had it. It's like chopped up into PDFs.
Uh huh.
So I have to find a way to get it to you. We use some kind of service online or something. Send it through the cloud. I'll get it to you. But yeah, man, people, brothers, young brothers can see your progression through that, and they'll be able to see your life. The background gonna change because you're gonna be making more bread, and they can see all that from the beginning all the way up. And you know what I'm saying. So yeah, man.
Same with you, man. You put in work and all that. So it's like I keep it. I'm glad we doing these weekly, and I'm glad that it's me. Like I'm looking at the old videos I did, and I'm evolving too because I just had went to got my hair cut earlier today, and my barber he a Zoe, he Haitian. They cool. They very intelligent brothers, and they kind of been reciting some stuff I've been saying in my previous lives. About rappers going ham, and it was like, yeah, you kind of evolving because I used to be spazzing, right? But it just the trials and tribulation with life and understanding. So that's all.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's
Same with
that's what's
you.
up. Oh yeah, man. I definitely within my own self, I've seen different ways in which I've grown. Especially since my mom passed a few years ago, there were certain ways in which um I couldn't grow until she was gone.
That's deep right there, man.
You
That's deep.
know, so yeah, that's how it is. So for sure we gonna do it again in the future, and just hit me up, man.
All right, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna let you go, man. But I'm definitely gonna start time stamping these. I make it a fact. I make it a right because that's only right. Because when they come back and they go on your website and they see it, they gotta go in that description. See, like how I do the Big Facts podcast. This is only like an hour and a half, so it'll be easy for me instead of 3 hours. So I know I can do it like that. So it's gonna pay off. I'm just letting you know and let people know who watching this. I got y'all. I promise y'all. I'm not gonna be no hole on that.
Oh yeah, I know. They know. We know. You do your thing with that, man.
All right,
Yep.
brother. I'll let you go ahead and go.
All right.